A very warm welcome, colleagues, to Session 10, Season 3 of CAP's Thoughtful Thursday, a weekly forum specifically designed for educational administrators across the region. It is hosted by the Caribbean Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools in partnership with technical support giant Mr. Raj Ramdas and Restore a Sense of ICANN. These weekly sessions all build up to the much anticipated CAPS Biennial Conference, 26th to 31st July, hosted by Trinidad and Tobago, the land of the hummingbird and steel pan. Over the past year, each one of us has been thrust into a different space. Some may even say a new era, being called upon to lead and manage our educational institutions, staff, students, and engage our parents and other stakeholders in non-traditional, unconventional, and innovative ways. Out of necessity and of the greater good of sustaining and growing the education system, administrators, despite deep frustrations with the complexities of a complete and unsympathetic paradigm shift, were called upon to quickly reorient their minds to what the classroom and schooling should now look like, all the while fumbling and tinkering with new communication and productivity tools, as we are all at varying points along the continuum. Certainly, during the past year and more, we have had to break through many barriers in education and overcome many obstacles to achieve those objectives identified in our school development plans, gleaned out of ministerial and wider national sustainable developmental goals. As administrators, we have all been transitioning beyond the norm to ensure our educational goals are achieved and to lend support to our students, teachers, and parents in times of crisis, fear, and uncertainty. This week's session focuses on the program of the CAPS conference, a unique blend of the various strands we have all been actively engaged in since the inception of Thoughtful Thursday. My name is Cindy Khan, Principal of San Fernando Central Secondary School and Assistant Secretary of the Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools in Trinidad and Tobago. It is indeed my pleasure to share the same space with you tonight. It is also my honor to invite my co-host, Mrs. Marva Daniel, who hails from the pristine scenic island of St. Lucia, to introduce herself and lead off the first segment of this evening's program, CAPS Connect. Marva?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Cindy. And here am I sitting. I ran up from my 101-year-old grandmother's house thinking I can't be home late this evening because it's Thoughtful Thursday, you know. But more importantly, I need to be ready to course with Cindy because, you know, we are serious. But I got sidetracked. I had some sweet-smelling mangoes, paluis, of course, some fat pork, some tangerine, some love apples, and even a sweet-smelling cocoa stopped me on my way. And I thought, oh my God, I'll be late. But here I am. Marva Daniel from St. Lucia, principal of the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School and secretary of the St. Lucia Secondary Schools Principals Association. I am here, though sidetracked early. Abraham Hicks purported that you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And I know us, all principals from all over the Caribbean, we have been thinking about our conference that's coming up. And as colleague Pitt beautifully describes it, it is going to be an exciting, eclectic, and expansive conference. And our executive members from Trinidad, our CAPS executive members, have beautifully crafted this activity. So I know we've been thinking about it and we've been registering. But just tonight, season 3, session 10, we are going to break out and engage in some beautiful social intercourse as we think about our breakout topic. How have we, as instructional leaders, transitioned as administrators over the past year? And what are some of the barriers that we have broken? What are some of the challenges that we have overcome? So I ask that everyone participate as we join together in our various breakout rooms. See you soon.
Welcome back, colleagues, to the main room. Marva, I must say that, Marva, are you there? Okay, Marva, could you unmute, please?
Yes, I am, Cindy.
Right.
I am here.
It was such rich sharing. I was in room 5, and you know, it was very interesting that 2 persons who shared. One is actually
okay, so I know that Cindy was having such an awesome breakout room moment, and somehow her unreserved sharing seemed to have interfered with her technology. So she will be back with us. And I will take this opportunity to share what our room, and I call our room Solutionists, breakout room 2. And we had quite a number of persons sharing their vast experiences in leadership within their schools. We had individuals from Jamaica, St. Lucia, Trinidad, now in Barbados, and of course our president. And our president was just sharing for us something very interesting, you know, the health and wellness of staff members. Such an interesting area that we all as principals have encountered, and the social health risks, you know, with the technology that we have all embraced, making us all digitally savvy. We saw experiences from my vice principal where we've embraced technology so much that we've broken the barrier of not having to do subject selection, and we've done it 2 years in a row, fully virtually. Deanne from Trinidad has embraced technology, and that switch, you know, has shown her that everything has changed, and she's embraced it, you know, and feels quite stretched. Also, we have Nadia speaking and sharing from Trinidad that they've noticed that parents have had to make some critical choices, whether to send students or, you know, log onto the internet. And thankfully, the donations have helped them to engage in food vouchers and grocery vouchers for their students. And I'm sure that some of us are quite familiar with this, you know. And Donna has also transitioned as a leader in getting persons to attend the school and of course to perform, be engaged, not just come in or come in late, but be there. So thank you. And Cindy, thank you. You're back with us. As I was saying to, I know your sharing was so great that it somehow interfered with your technology.
I'm sorry about that. I just had a little glitch in technology, but as I was saying, just very quickly, that 2 persons shared in my room in room 5. And interestingly enough, one is actually or has been an administrator for only 1 year, principal. And she has had to deal with immersing herself into a new culture, into a new school, but also dealing with the COVID-19 challenges. Also in my room was the former president of BAPS, that's the Barbados Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, Mr. Vera Paris. And it's very interesting that he mentioned um, an assessment was done very recently among primary school students who are preparing for the SEA exam. And what they have noticed is that there's a grave disparity now in in performance from last year to this year, and the challenges that we will have as secondary school administrators when students come into our schools having passed the SCA and now having to put programs in place to deal with those who have really fallen below average. So yes, there are many challenges, but how do we, it begs the question, how do we even further transition in this new academic year in dealing with these students who would not have had devices or would have had poor internet connectivity, and they too would have been somewhat left behind. So thank you very much, everyone, for sharing in your rooms. So now we move on
Thank you.
to the next segment of our program, which is the Presidential Thoughts feature. Mr. Stephen Jackman, President of the Barbados Association, the current President of the Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools, previously served as Public Relations Officer and Vice President. He sits on several steering committees and is currently serving on subcommittees to reform teacher appraisal and for the introduction of a master teacher program in Barbados. He has also led his school through the piloting of the CBQ program in his fundamental belief that every child can learn. An individual with vast knowledge and experience in leadership and education. It is my pleasure to invite Mr. Stephen Jackman, President of the Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools, center stage.
Yay.
Good evening, colleagues. This evening, I am to speak to you briefly on the whole concept of inclusiveness and diversity. Our Caribbean has become a cosmopolitan region with a rich diversity of ethnicities, religions, abilities, and personalities. In this situation, we must accept that the students in our classrooms will present with differing intelligences, diverging learning styles and abilities, and varying physical abilities. Unfortunately, the traditional response has been to see the standardized curricula for all users, driven by specified curricula. Across several jurisdictions, the answer to this problem has been inclusive education. Quirk et al. Define inclusion as a situation where all students, regardless of any challenges they may have, are placed in age-appropriate general education classes to receive high-quality instruction, intervention, and supports to enable them to meet success in the core curriculum. There are three pillars that must exist for successful inclusion. First, there must be an acceptance of the diversity that exists in the classroom. Gardner's work on multiple intelligences has better equipped us to reach this pillar, realizing that students have a multiplicity of ways of interpreting the world and making sense of it allows us the acceptance of the diversity that presents before us. The second pillar is understanding. This is reflected in our realization that each child in the classroom has a wealth of experience that informs his or her learning. The final pillar is attending. This relates to the way in which we as teachers apply the knowledge of learning styles and learning differences to treat to the needs of our students. Our use of stimuli should reflect the students' physical, cognitive, academic, social, and economic circumstances. In short, we must ensure that we do not frustrate a fish by asking him to climb a tree. To achieve this success, we must use cooperative practices. Learning specialists and teachers must work together to provide authentic experiences to assist all students to build knowledge and to move towards the realization of their goals. Our curriculum must be inclusive of ethnic, religious, and culturally relevant information to ensure student engagement. Constructivism tells us that students build knowledge from their environment, and therefore instruction must reflect their environment and their experience. Finally, the village must raise the child. Parents and the community must work together with the school to provide realistic opportunities for all students. Social agencies must also be involved in the process of supporting the actions of the school. Resources and training must be found to equip teachers with the skills to provide differential instruction. Technological solutions must be sourced to provide assistance to those who are capable of self-directed learning. And IEPs, individualized educational programs, must be developed to cater to individual needs. My friends, I cannot leave you without tying inclusiveness to CAPS program for 2021. From the Bahamas to Guyana, from Barbados to Belize, we the Caribbean have come from a heritage gained from African, Asian, European, and indigenous peoples. We have become one out of many. Our acceptance of our differences has blended into a common struggle for human dignity and success. Our understanding has been forged in the quadrants of slavery and servitude, in the common struggle of the labor movement, and in the upliftment of our people through education. At our virtual conference, we shall attend to our virtual differences through lectures for those who are so inclined, through chat rooms and presentations for others. The gamers among us will find something for them. The country booths will provide the cultural relevance and the cross-pollination for all of us. And Trinidad is known for a good line. Through the platform, we will be able to design our own IEPs to satisfy our academic, social, and cultural interests. And we will be able to share space with our Caribbean brothers and sisters to create relevance from our practice. Finally, we will engage our ministers, the universities, the youth, the parents, and the community at large to add their perspective to our own as we create the big tent of education. We will make our region greater than the sum of its parts. My friends, the only thing left for me to say is, Trinbega are coming. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome. Awesome. Cindy, I think President Jackman has a lot more talent than we thought. Thank you so much, President Jackman. Your presentation was certainly stimulating and prescriptive. And I know that as instructional leaders and diverse educators that we all are, we will ensure inclusiveness. And of course, in all of our engagements, we will be constructive and relevant in our collaborations, and not just us, principals and teachers, but all stakeholders, to ensure holistic development of all of our students, and of course, ultimately a greater region. So thank you very much, President Jackman. Over to you, Cindy.
Now you know what time it is. It's time for our moment of movement. Mr. Philip Kalu, a practitioner of martial arts, yoga, and weight training, will take us through a very short series of Tai Chi exercises to help us invigorate. So come on, let's get off our seats now and let's try these simple exercises that will improve our health and well-being. Come on, Marvel, let's get up.
Oh yes, I'm ready.
Ready, here we go.
Hey everyone, hope everyone is in good health and in good shape. Let's do a short sequence of Tai Chi exercises to invigorate and also to help you focus your concentration. Stand with your feet together. Take your left leg, step out to the left side so your feet are not shoulder width apart. From this position, lift your arms up to the shoulders, inhaling. Now bend your knees and gently press the hands down to the floor. Again, inhale, lift your hands up to the shoulders, the wrists are hanging down. Exhale, press the hands down in front of your thighs. Again, breathe in again. Height of shoulders, very relaxed. Exhale, press the hands down towards your thighs. From this position, put your right hand above your left hand, breathe in. Tilt to your left side, breathe out. Gently. Back to the front, change your hand position. Put your left hand above the right, breathe in. Exhale, tilt to the right side, exhale. Back to the front, change hand position, right hand on top of the left. Your hand, the top hand is the height of the chest, the bottom hand is about the height of the knee. So inhale, turn to the left side, exhale, back to the front, change hand position. So now your left hand is on top of the right. Inhale, turn to the right side and exhale, back to the front, change hands again, right hand on top of the left. Inhale, turn to the left side, exhale, back to the front. Change hands one more time, left hand on top of the right. Inhale, turn to the right side and exhale. And back to the front. Relax your hands. Bring your left leg back into the right. Just the formal posture to start with the exercise. That's it for this evening. Thank you very much. See you as the year progresses. Bye.
We are breaking barriers. Are you transitioning with us?
How? What do we do?
Transitioning to leadership through professional development.
Through the voice of youth.
Through technology and innovation.
Through health and wellness.
Through stakeholders and community involvement.
Through the arts and culture.
Through inclusivity and diversity.
Transitioning to the future of Caribbean education.
Join us.
And let's blaze the trail to CAPS Virtual Conference 2021. We got this. See you there.
Welcome back, everyone. COVID-19 has caused unparalleled waves of disruption and change and has thrown most, if not all, societies in some sort of turmoil. Governments, parents, students, the public at large have depended on educators to be innovative, inclusive in their outreach programs, and administrators have been called upon to break traditional barriers and transition beyond what has been normal from time immemorial. Our two presenters this evening, Mrs. Sonia Mahes Prasad, has been an administrator for more than 15 years. She is the principal of Lakshmi Girls Hindu College for almost 11 years. She currently serves as the president of the Association of Principals of Assisted Secondary Schools, 2019 to present. Mrs. Charlene Hicks Raven is a proud past student and principal for the past 7 years of Barataria South Secondary School. She is a trustee of APS-TT and team lead of CAPS Virtual Conference Program Committee. At this stage, they will both provide some very stimulating and insightful information on the outline or format of the CAPS program. At this point in time, I would like to invite our two presenters center stage and also remind you, audience, that you may place your questions in the chat during the presentation. Sonia and Charlene.
Hi, good evening, Cindy. Hi, good evening. So I'll be starting and then I'm going to pass over to Sonia. I'm so grateful that we've had this opportunity today to give you all a sneak peek at what we have been planning and what we continue to plan for you for our first virtual conference. So just allow me to share my screen and I will begin. So again, it is indeed my pleasure to have this opportunity to give you just a sneak peek at the work that has been going into ensuring that this pioneering event is something which we can all be proud of. And Mr. Jackman, I hear you, and we are waiting to welcome you. All right, by the time you are finished with this conference, the only thing you're going to be missing, and we're working on it, is how I'm going to and how we're going to transport some of the real taste of TNT. But we are doing everything to ensure that this experience is so vibrant and rich that you will not be at all disappointed. So July 26th to the 31st. This is just a sneak at the program as we have for these days coming up for next month. And as we have said at the beginning, throughout this session, our theme, breaking barriers, transitioning beyond the norm. What does that mean for us? As we have said, and as you have also just shared in the breakout room, the transitioning is so important for us as administrators, and we have to continue to gain that knowledge and to use the respective platforms. And this program enables us to continue to do such as we continue to go beyond the norm into the new realm of education for the region. So the program committee, we have set the objectives of making this virtual conference edifying, impactful, content-rich, and an engaging experience. And the program consists of, as we have said, and as Mr. Jackman has also said in the presidential thought, significant numbers of strands in our educational landscape. We have significant strands which each on its own, when someone goes to a conference, just imagine, for us who we have been to conferences, usually we know that every single person may be looking for one particular element. For some, they are very much interested in perhaps the academic. Some may be drawn more to the cultural items. Some may be drawn to technology. And what we envision, of course, is that everybody brings something to the table. And we also, with the program, we are seeking to bring this, to make this a collective experience by offering numerous strands, but ultimately, when woven together, we all will make this collective a unifying and edifying experience. At the end, we will be more enriched, and we will in fact have, grown tremendously. So let me just share what are these strands that we have taken from the platform of Thoughtful Thursday that has been one of our pools of resources that we are continuing to build on. And these strands are the academic, where we are going to delve into, of course, the theme. This is going to be one of the more significant areas, or we're going to focus tremendously on this area: leadership, professional development, technology, innovation, creativity. We are going to be devoting an entire day set aside for youth, where we're going to have youth who are going to be in charge of, for the different segments on the day. Health and wellness is also a strand that is very powerful and which Sonia is going to share a little more of in a few minutes. We must have as well one of our main stakeholders, and as what we have spoken about, inclusivity, student support services and children's authority. We are going to be having individuals, expertise, NGOs who are going to be giving presentations and also giving information in this area, lending to one of the strands. And of course, the parent element, very important, particularly at this time where the school, one of our segments speaks of the school now is transcended and being part of the impact of the school on the home. Yes, and well, the opening ceremony and closing ceremony, that is also going to be featured in terms of where we will be acknowledging the principals, just as what you are accustomed to in the face-to-face conferences. Very poignant, very important, recognizing some of the administrators of the regions who are going to be awarded at our closing ceremony. The breakout room sessions, which you have grown so accustomed to, and which through most of the evaluations that we have at the end of Thoughtful Thursday, always asking for more, never enough. Well, you will have an opportunity to have the breakout room sessions. That is going to be, of course, on a greater scale, where we are going to involve, because that is one of the, I think, one of the rich experiences that we look forward to in conferences as well, the networking and the sharing of ideas that we have grown so used to as well. And it will not be complete if we do not have that element, which you also have grown accustomed to, the very rich and very strong cultural elements that ties in and makes us uniquely Caribbean. So each territory will be having its opportunity to present, highlight some cultural elements as well. I'm just going to go into show you the general layout of the day. So for the 5 days, this is going to be the general layout of the schedule, where just as the face-to-face conferences, you would start with a devotion, 15 minutes, and that is going to be shared between different territories. So each territory will have an opportunity to lead that just for 15 minutes, followed by, throughout the day, the bulk of the day, of course, between 9 and 12 is going to be a mix of individual presentations, panel discussions, keynote speakers. There's going to be a break for lunch, and then we resume, where you have again between the hours of 1 to 6:30, a further series of presentations simultaneously, where individuals will have an opportunity to select various items based on the program. You are going to be able to select one session as opposed to the next, because you are going to get the entire layout and you are going to have the element of choice. And each day is going to culminate with a cultural night. Again, territories, we hope we are working, looking forward to seeing where it's going to be a depiction of both live as well as recorded elements that they are going to be using. At the end, we are going to have those sessions where the cultural nights are going to bring the curtains down on the daily presentation. And this is going to be infused with, of course, you have to have a taste of Trinidad. So throughout this, we have respective themes that are going to be highlighted for each day. And of course, you would have gotten a sneak as to the actual platform that this is going to be centered around. So once we have the elements infused with that, the experience is going to be, it's going to be memorable, it's going to be rich and totally engaging. Just a few words in terms of, I'll just share some information concerning the academic strand. As I said, this is going to be the meat of the presentation and of the conference. A significant amount of time and is devoted to this in terms of the respective sessions that we have for you. And this is going to be a mix of moderated lectures, right? Presentations with question and answers. You have, just to give you an idea, we have from of course, Trinidad and Tobago, in terms of some of our speakers from the University of the West Indies, from the Caribbean territories, from, just want to give you one or two names. We have Ms. Diani Whiskey John, who has been a presenter on Thoughtful Thursday, and who will be coming back as well to give us further topic, the virtual leadership. Yes, Andre Martin of Grenada is going to be giving us a presentation on research. Dr. Laurette Bristol of CARICOM Secretariat is also going to be one of our presenters. We have from Belize, Dr. Chamberlain, who was also a favorite in terms of recharging the administrator in terms of the health and wellness. Is a very powerful presentation that we have planned. Please also note the panel discussions. Every single day, there are going to be panel discussions on respective themes. And just to highlight one for you, we have the panels we're going to have ministers of education on one panel. We're going to have university lecturers on one panel. We are going to have inclusion, a panel that discusses inclusion as one of our topics. We are going to have the principals, respective principals of the territories, who are going to be sharing their experiences in the field of innovation, in the field of technology, in some of the administrative high points, and some of the, in terms of some of the challenges and how they have overcome the challenges as well, that we are also going to be scheduling, very importantly, some of our retirees as well, who are going to be giving us an idea as to the journey that has been CAPS, that has brought us to this point, how this body, this Caribbean entity has in fact grown, and where we are at this point becoming more unified as a very reputable stakeholder in education. And of course, our parents group. So here we have just a sample of one of the topics taking out of inclusion, right? Inclusion in the Caribbean, challenges and solutions. And these are some of the panelists for this panel discussion from the university, all reputable, all leaders in their fields with regards to inclusion and special education. So this is going to be an area where we know our administrators are going to be very interested in hearing and to tune into. Then we have our keynote speakers. I don't want to let too much out of the bag, but just to give you a taste, so far we have two individuals who we know are going to be high points and which you would like to hear. You need to hear and who have consented to be part of this conference. We are talking of Dr. Wayne Frederick of Howard University, who will be doing a keynote address on Towards an Empowered Caribbean Society. And we also have Sir Hilary Beckers, who will be speaking on the topic, the responsibility of the Caribbean administrator in guiding the continued pursuit of our true Caribbean identity. So that is just two of the other keynote speakers who will be featured for us at this conference. And just before I hand over to Sonia, as I said, with regards to our cultural strand, we are going to be giving you a taste of TNT, a taste of the Caribbean. We look forward to you all being part of this experience. We want you to please come with ideas to share, to be edified, and you are going to be to engage and to leave enriched and fulfilled. Okay, so Sonia, what else do we have to look forward to?
Okay, thank you, Charlene. I am very excited. I mean, seeing all of these different panels and different strands that you highlighted. And what I will do, I will just, you give a really good teaser, a trailer, if you wish, into what is to come. So let me just share a bit further some of the strands as well, give a little bit more of an insight into some of these strands, okay? Okay, so Charlene shared a virtual buffet, a smorgasbord of different presentations and formats, and framed that the 5-6 days that we have for this historic virtual conference. So what I would like to do is just focus very quickly on 4 additional strands. And Charlene, I would like to say last week in breakout rooms, when the question was posed as to what expectations participants have of this virtual conference, a lot of the things participants asked for, we had already catered for and factored into the program. So yes, great minds. So let me just share some of those. So Charlene spoke a bit about the parents strand and mentioned the technology and innovation, youth empowerment, health and wellness. So these are some of the areas I will touch upon. Just to let you all know that there will be various presentations that will be going on simultaneously in different breakout rooms. So you have such a wide array of choices on any given day and at any given time to suit your particular needs and your particular interests as well. So in technology and innovation, one of the things that came up in discussions was that question of inclusive education. And we have a very interesting series of presenters who are going to look at diverse learners and linking that to the use of assistive technology. Something that is not given a lot of thought, I think, when we talk about, inclusion, but the opportunities that were given during this year of using online platforms and technology tools show us how students who come from diverse learning background, different needs that they have, could have tapped into this. So we are going to have presenters, experts in their fields, as Charlene mentioned, speak to these topics, and as well as the emergent technologies and a role in reshaping education. We're talking about breaking boundaries, and changing in norms. And the whole question of physical schooling, and this very interesting question, has the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated that technology can replace physical schooling? And that promises to be a very rich discussion. I'm sure a lot of educators and participants here will have a lot to say on this and will benefit from the expertise that will be shared in this particular presentation. And of course, we talk about teacher professional development and how we can harness technology. And we have an expert in the field who will also share her knowledge and insight in this particular area. The parent strands, they're a broad spectrum of individuals who are involved in this, and there are several panel discussions that will embrace the parents. One, we are looking at the Caribbean perspective of inclusion in education. And that is something that keeps coming up. It's a theme that is a recurrent theme for all of us, and we are looking at it from different angles. So the panel discussion would look at different types of special needs, not a traditional definition, but the wide spectrum of different types of special needs, and the resources and agencies and some suggestions and recommendations that will come out of this panel discussion as the new thinking and products required as we break barriers and transition into these new norms. And of course, we come back again to the whole issue of when the homes become school. The parent-school partnership has become real, and this is something that we are tapping into. There's a lot of empirical data available that we could tap into and look at how it has impacted on schooling. And we're pulling from 4 Caribbean territories panelists who will represent the experience of these territories as we look into the analysis of what has happened this year and the way forward. Youth empowerment, that has always been a huge part of what we do here with Thoughtful Thursday. And it's a very exciting strand because the youth are going to take charge. We have a lot of youth advocacy in our world in terms of environmental and social issues. And in the Caribbean, we have some very powerful young people who are going to be part of this particular strand. They're going to look at creative practices of Caribbean youth, entrepreneurship, how they manage different things at the same time, education, their own small businesses, share their practice, innovations in youth leadership. We have some really high-powered presenters in that particular strand. Transition into tertiary education, sharing that experience with online and other aspects of tertiary education. And also, what does the educational system offer young people now? Put it in a context and the relevance of what we do. Are there things that we need to change? So this is a really powerful strand, and we look forward to hearing from our young people. And finally, every single week of Thoughtful Thursday, we have had this health and wellness. It will not be complete without this. So we are looking in a holistic manner at physical, mental, emotional, psychological health and wellness. And we have several experts looking at things like alternative to traditional medicine. We have Dr. Myers who will be doing that. And he's a well-known figure in Trinidad and Tobago with a wealth of experience in this area. Mindfulness, Dr. Harewood will be doing a presentation on that and actually showing a link to our mental well-being in a very data-driven, well-researched manner. Mental health presentation as well, and how we retool our minds. And we have 4 nutritionists who are looking at different angles of how we optimize nutrition as educators. Looking at things like foods for moods and how our moods are impacted by food, the foods that we eat. There's a gendered presentation as well with nutrition. I know people are thinking gendered presentation on nutrition. Yes, looking at how what we eat as males and females and how that impact on our physical and mental well-being. And of course, there will be lots of opportunities for that physical moment of movement. So all in all, we have a lot to look forward to. I am sure that all of you are excited by this opportunity. Let us take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to make, to create something historic, to be part of something historic rather. So we look forward to all of you joining us, registering and coming in to share, to grow, to learn, to enjoy, and to empower all of us as educational leaders in the Caribbean at our virtual conference from the 26th to the 31st of July. So we look forward to seeing all of you there as we break barriers and transition beyond the norm. Okay, thank you very much, Aline. So I think I'll hand
Thank you,
over now to
Sonia.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Wow. Both of these ladies have just presented something that certainly has whet my appetite. As Sonia so rightly said, CAPS conference promises to be a virtual buffet. I just love it. You know, Marva, we have really been trying over the past year to break barriers in our institution, to be able to reach out to the parents, to the youth, despite all the hurdles and the obstacles in the way. And from what Sonia and Charlene have just presented, I can say that we are well on our way. Could you unmute, please?
I was so engrossed, I didn't remember my mic was off. Oh my God, definitely on our way, well positioned to present an epic conference. Definitely. And our president and her team, oh my God, kudos to all those architects who are putting together the most mind-blowing activity ever planned, you know. So I'm I am excited. I don't know about other principals, and you know me, you know, so I'm all primed. I've already registered even before I knew how much it cost, you know. So I noticed in the group, you know, in the chat, persons were being directed, you know, in terms of the responses that they needed to about registration, who can register. It's every single principal, all vice principals worldwide. So invite our friends from all over the world, you know, and there's no daylight saving time where our conference is concerned. You know, persons can be, the fee for registration is there. So persons can connect with the presidents, and if they're from all over the world, they can just log on to our website. We are universal, you know. We're not just in the Caribbean, we're all over the world. Anybody can log on to our site and see all of this information. And those of you who consider yourself early birds, it's only $175 to register. So before the end of this month, try to get registered, because after June 30th, it's $200. So I don't think anybody wants, you know, to lose that 25 US. That could go a long way, you know. And so we want everybody on registered, and of course expecting to be fully well, how would I say this, digesting all of this meal that has been planned. As you said, you know, what a wonderful buffet of strands that we are going to be engaging in. I think Pat and Charlene and the others have placed in the responses, the local TV, radios, newspapers. The information is all over. You can't miss it. And if anything, if you're within the Caribbean region, all presidents have current information about CAPS. So just log on or link with your president, and you will be informed about what you need to do to be part of this epic journey. Okay, Cindy? So we're wrapping up. I noticed we're wrapping up. Everybody has filled out the forms. And I think we forgot to thank our master, Tai Chi. You know, this was so invigorating, and the routines are so simple that, you know, we can do it every day. Just, you know, play back this beautiful, thoughtful Thursday, and we could be well on our way to, you know, being moving more, you know, with our master, Mr. Kulu. And so today, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming on. And, you know, Thoughtful Thursday is really not just a thought. It's a lifestyle. So we need everybody to be logged on. We are certainly more informed about our upcoming 28th biennial conference. So please register. We thank all those who participated in tonight's activity. And thanks to Charlene and Sonia, we are now so much more primed to be registered. We also would like to invite everyone to join us next week as we engage in more of this journey and explore together the importance of culture immersion to education, inclusion in a conference, and so with that, we are saying good night and goodbye as we come to the end of another interesting week, Thoughtful Thursday, Session 10, Season 3. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you very much all for joining, and do have a blessed night. Good night, everyone.
Good evening, everybody. Good night, everybody. Don't forget to complete the forms, and to register.
We are breaking barriers. Are you transitioning with us?
How? What do we do?
Transitioning to leadership through professional development.
Through the voice of youth.
Through technology and innovation.
Through health and wellness.
Through stakeholders and community involvement.
Through the arts and culture.
Through inclusivity and diversity.
Transitioning to the future of Caribbean education.
Join us.
And let's blaze the trail to CAPS Virtual Conference 2021. We got this. See you there.
Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary Schools is breaking barriers and going beyond the norm, July 26th to 31st. We invite you to be a part of this pioneering virtual conference, guaranteed to renew your commitment as administrators of excellence through the sharing of ideas in innovation and technology. The ultimate Caribbean unifying experience. CAPS Virtual Conference July 2021. Creating opportunities to collaborate, define our future, and transition beyond the norm. Be a part of the journey.
CAPS Virtual Conference 2021, Blazing the Trail.